get this connection strong, and at the same time the university community would see how the industry is taking these challenges, and that combination actually is what is important for the future. And Mr. Mohandiram mentioned the universities, the people are the software, and we are happy that we are developing software at University of Colombo, and that is important. And I would say that it is not a hard written software, but the software that could amend at the right time, adjusting to the situation. So we need that caliber of people. Industry knowledge is important, theory is important, but at the same time, if you can't think out of the box, and if you can't think creatively, so then the progress may be not that much. So then what we need is sensible, creative, compassionate people that we think all our curriculum and the visions and the staff are thinking of these things in order to train the young minds and the people who are joining Colombo University tourism unit to train themselves. So that is very important. And on the other hand, probably most of you have studied, those who are working or have joined these programs. There's a concept in economics, information asymmetry. That is the differences in the knowledge. Now, I want to go to a hotel, and as the hotelier, you know in and out of the hotel, but I don't know. And probably I know about myself best, but you don't know about my interests. So that gap is always there, and that would actually go against development of any industry, not only tourism. So these type of events are, I think, wonderful to understand each other. Now, a lot of industry is now attending, and the students and the enthusiasts, teachers, academics, so they are also here. So it's a good rendezvous, meeting place for everybody to share their ideas, share their interests, so then the understanding would be better. And now, since this is more focused on job creation, so then the industry would be able to attract the best people, and those who are looking jobs can see what would be the best organization for me or for you. So these type of events actually support the industry in that sense as well. So thank you once again for the organizing team. So I have seen a lot of these type of gigantic events happening in Colombo University. So it is good publicity for the university, good publicity for the industry, and as one gentleman very rightly mentioned that now whenever we ask somebody a question, who would you be in 10 years time, school children, the obvious answer would be, I want to become a doctor or an engineer. So that is the conventional thinking, and we are finding it difficult to move away from that. And recently I checked certain jobs in the UK market, and the doctor is at 7th or 8th level in the health industry. So there are non-doctor professions who earns better than a doctor. Now, I think one of the highest earned doctors are the dentists in UK. And in Sri Lanka, you go to dentist if you don't be selected to the medical degree program. So then we'll have to now change our mindset. So there are lots of, and and we were, Mr. Mondiram was talking to me that they are going to tap those who are dropping from schools because many are thinking in one direction. And those dropouts, actually, why they drop from the schools, because they are not incapable, because the school system may be incapable of giving what they want. You see, now when you look at most of the richest people in the world, except for few, many are dropouts from the conventional school system, starting with Bill Gates and Steve Jobs. They couldn't actually go through the entire schooling process, and they wanted to start on their own. And then, so these are newly developed areas, and to passionately do something that you like, and then you would, to get the opportunity for that is great, because success, there is a higher probability that you would be successful, because you are doing what you want to do, what you like to do, what you love to do, not because somebody else is telling you to do. So then creating that awareness is very important, and I wish Professor Suranga and his team, led by Mr. Mohandiram these days, and the entire tourist community, tourism community, and the industry leaders for your generosity in attending these type of events, spending your valuable time with us, and that gives the more color and the confidence to all who are here today. And that's it from me. So wish you all the very best. Have fun throughout the day. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Chandan Alugge, for your inspiring words. Moving on, it's an honor to welcome another prominent speaker to today's event, Mr. Buddhika Hewawasam, the chairman of the Sri Lanka Tourism Development Authority and Sri Lanka Tourism Promotion Bureau. As a visionary leader in Sri Lanka tourism industry, he has played a vital role in shaping the future of tourism in our nation. I would like to welcome
Thank you very much for inviting me. First of all, actually, Professor Suranga as well as Professor Alugge and the rest of the people in the Colombo University is not new to me, because it's kind of a second home to me as well. Though I'm not a graduate, my first degree is not from Colombo University. I was actually a graduate from Sabargum University. But for last 20 years, one way or other, I worked in Colombo University in many areas. I did my master's here as well as I did lecturing here until now. So it's not a new place, and except about that, actually the relationship of Professor Suranga and mine is quite long, and we are part of the people who started this program sometimes back. I did lectures, and as Nihal mentioned, I did marketing and all this kind of thing. So that's the little bit of background of it, but the matter what we are being addressing right now is one of the key matters when it comes to national tourism. Because one fact is, as we have been trying to announce, we are actually planning right now is for a 3 million tourists and $5 billion revenue in next year. And by next 5 years of time, it will increase to 5 million tourists and $10 billion revenue. So that itself is just the basic numbers, but at the same time, when you have been thinking about the current employment in tourism, probably 11% of Sri Lanka's employees are in tourism industry, around 429,000 last year as per the statistics. And as Chandra mentioned, if we are increasing it by 1 million, there will be another 100,000 need to be added. So the question arises whether we can attract that many people and whether we can retain that many people, and also is there a capacity to train that many people. So that is the issue in very basic level. In one angle, as the president of the association talks about, the attraction is one big issue, because if you have been thinking about the national curriculum, neither the school syllabuses of Sri Lanka does not carry anything about tourism. So we were all this time, he's been trying to put certain lessons, trying to put at least a kind of elective subject in all level in tourism, which we think with the present government and strategy considering tourism as a priority industry will take it forward. And along with that, the particular activities like developing tourism clubs and making tourism a kind of a feasible and attractive venture, even the school trips and all can be converted into some kind of field visits, which gives the glimpses and basis of the guiding as well as tourism into the school kids. So that's one angle where you can create a mentality of tourism among the school kids, because I myself is nothing to do with tourism. I actually did bioscience and my first degree is agriculture. Somehow I ended up in tourism. So that's a long story short. And my jobs are actually diverse. I was in aviation, then I was in hotel school. I headed the hotel school for 2 years as a director general. And I was a wildlife ranger and a railway station master as well. So in Sri Lanka, everything is an accident now, so we have to stop this whole accident scenario, at least for the next generation. Some kind of systematic and planning approach towards employment as well as towards tourism employment need to be doing for us to achieve these numbers. So by the way, the schools need to play a bigger role. And we know there is a kind of dropout of the O-level, after O-level from schools. Where these guys are being ended up right now, probably, if you think about the marginals of Sri Lanka, they are the people who ended up as three-wheel drivers and all sort of things. And tourism can absorb them jolly well. But certain rules and regulations of the country need to be changed. It's one way. We all know if somebody is being under 17 years, they cannot be taken as interns in the particular hotels and all, because we consider tourism as a hazardous industry. So those kind of things actually we discuss, something that we need to be changed as well. So somebody who's been dropped out in O-level, do a course and doesn't wait for next 2 years for trying for employment. They can't. If it's a three-wheeler, they just started, they just take it out and just drive, whether it is legal or not. But the industry should absorb the youngsters in a one way. That's one angle. On the other hand, the people like us, as I said, I was an agriculture graduate, somehow ended up in tourism. So there are a lot of vocations and a lot of other programs which can attract them into the tourism vocations. That means, like say, if somebody does a science degree, does not mean that he is not suitable for tourism. There are naturalists, there are botanists, there are guides, various sort of occupations are being available for them. And even the archaeology, arts graduates and all sort of people. Sometimes we have been talking about university underemployment. So one way of addressing underemployment is to be matching them or marrying them with tourism. That is where I think the role of universities will come in place, especially the role of your programs are coming in place, where you have been able to attract other vocations into tourism, maybe giving them proper training, diplomas and things of that sort, and make them attracted to tourism. So that's one big area that we have been looking at. On the other hand, we know there is a gap between the graduates and the particular required skills of the tourism jobs. That's another angle which is actually need to be addressed. So what I've been talking about is first the attraction of the people into the tourism industry from the school level, probably from the other vocations. If we have been talking about a tourism economy, at least we need 15 to 20% of the people working in the tourism industry, and at least some portion, 10% of the people on tourism, like say self-employment, maybe entrepreneurship in some form. So that's a requirement which need to be fulfilled by the programs like this. I think Dr. Surangi in that manner, or Professor Surangi in that manner, so sorry, because the fact that when we started he was Dr. Surangi, as you know. So right now he's professor, so sorry about because we were being used to call each other in that name for so long. So because of whatever the reason, I think other universities are still a bit reluctant to start programs of this nature, where the industry can come and join and do their training. plus the academics or the graduates of the other areas can come and join into the tourism industry. So this is, I think it's an important conduit in the tourism economy. So that's why I've been discussing with Professor as well. So these type of programs is very, very attractive, very, very required, because the human capital requirement is one of the biggest bottlenecks that we are going to face in future. And we know that the retention of the tourism industry employees is very, very hard, because of the fact that the country's tax structure is not supporting the particular higher level professionals, which I think the present government is very much in consideration of reviewing. And on the other hand, there is a kind of attraction of the tourism industry qualified employees all over the world, because tourism is one industry where the skills are standardized. So if you are be like good chef in here and you know the skill, you can work somewhere else in the world as well. So the retention level is not that great. When there's no retention, or the retention is harder and there is a kind of turnover is higher, so you need to produce more to that turnover. So the current hotel school systems will not be able to produce more than 25,000 people per the industry per year. And if you have been considering about, there are 3 ways people are coming. Either they are coming through being graduates of tourism or whatsoever. There are about like 6 to 7 government universities and at least 3 private universities producing tourism degrees, which itself has been producing about 10,000. And if you think about the hotel school system, government hotel school system, SLITHM is not producing more than 8,000 people per year. And the other hotel schools, probably with all the private ones in smaller scale, is been producing another 10 to 15,000, nothing more than that. Then the rest are actually attracted directly by the industry. That is also not very high number. So if you have been taking 100,000, I think there is a kind of a gap of another 30,000 which need to be fulfilled. That can only be fulfilled by converting the present employees or the present graduates or present professionals of the other industries to attract to tourism industry, and to have some kind of fast track program on the other hand. Because otherwise, next year for sure if we achieve this 3 million, the hotels will come and pressurize us, plus the tour operators will pressurize us to import employees, which already started. In certain occasions, we bring a lot of foreign employees. Yeah, if the skill is not there, we need these skills to be bring down to Sri Lanka, but at the same time, when the skill is there, and there's potential for growing that skills, that is a bigger issue. So that's why the programs of this nature and the fairs of this nature is very important. Maybe it's in its infancy, but at the same time it need to be grow all over Sri Lanka, and it need to be growing onto the particular suburbs and the rural areas, because most of the rural areas still the mentality is same as the good friend of ours in alumni has been talking about. If you are still going into Anuradhapura and asking people whether the hotel school is an option or a profession of tourism is an option, though they produce Nihal, still they need more to come into tourism industry. So same fact applies. So it is, I think these kind of fairs has to be organized rurally as well, organized in provincially as well, for them to be attracted more and more into the industry. That is the only way forward if we have been creating economy, because we can do brick and mortar development, we can make our lands available, we can make the investment feasible, we can make the particular people to build hotels. And also on the other hand, if we have kind of proper marketing campaigns with the growth of the tourism industry, yes, these numbers is very much achievable. But sustain these numbers will only come through human resources. So to do that, we need to do some kind of transformative marvels. Actually, I'm not heading the particular tourism training front. My colleague, Mr. Dheeraj Tiarat, is the one who's been heading it. I know like he has the similar visions to be expanding it, and we need this particular support, especially the association like yours, the alumni, probably the universities, the tourism faculties, plus all the private hotel schools and other ventures has to get together to do proper analysis of this human requirement, because like we know this requirement is divided into many areas. Probably number of chefs we need might not be the highest numbers, but at the same time there are so many vocations. Part by part we need to be analyzed. Yeah, like say you have tourism related vocations, you have hospitality related vocations, and you have so many other kind of vocations which maybe those vocations are not tourism, but you need a tourism element in it. So maybe like gardener in a hotel who need to be a gardener. He might be having from botanical sciences or horticultural degrees or whatsoever, but he has to have some element of tourism in it. So in wider way, this is what we are required, and also especially the state employees who are in tourism related sectors, maybe a botanical garden staff, the DWC, the wildlife conservation staff or forest staff or whoever has to know a little bit of tourism. If it's a tourism economy and we bring 3 million of people here, and when they go to a botanical park or wherever a DWC venture, wherever, when people doesn't know tourism, then there will be a big issue, because the quality and the standards is one factor we need to be considered very highly, and the sustain of this particular economy can only be possible by continuously producing. So I think that is something which we need to infuse with the education system. So even with the particular tourism policy we launched with the present government, the NPP, one of the pillars, one of the dimensions is human capital development. So the human capital development in these multiple areas need to be seriously looked at. So that's why we are all here. That's why we have been supporting and contributing your efforts. So it's a great effort which can be greater within next few years of time. And it can go world wider. Probably you can create a network with all other universities who has tourism degrees and all, and create a kind of national level of hype. Just an idea which we can support. As a national tourism, we will be able to support in various ways to get this initiative. It's not a support itself, it's actually a contributive way of being expanding the tourism economy. So in that manner, I think we all are in the same phase. So youngsters here, whoever who's doing anything in tourism will have a kind of great, brighter future more than any other vocation. So in one angle, you will be prospering locally, and the moment that you think that you want to go globally, it's up to you, because you can also go globally. Any tourism degree, tourism diploma or a vocational program is like a visa unlimited, where you will be able to go to any country and work. So you are in the right industry. We were started with sometimes the wrong industry, ended up in the right industry. I suppose to be a farmer in that sense, right? So whatever the life and its fates take us here. But I think you guys are not like us. You guys are very well planned and been decided to be in the tourism industry. So that decision is a right decision. Take it forward. The merits have been there, and we are actually committed to support these initiatives. And thank you very much for Professor Suranga, as well as the Alumni Association, and all the industry colleagues who are sitting with me here, who are all actually the seniors, the legacies, and all these kind of people who contributed greatly to this industry's success. We all are in same phase when it comes to human resource development. We all are be part and parcel of the game. Thank you.